FFA as well, just like in for 1 versus 1. For me, there is an F tier. So let's talk about the saves that I'm gonna put into S tier and why. So in my eyes, the civilization that can make gold from the ground, literally, so gold from somewhere that other civilization can't make, then those civilizations are actually good. So I'm gonna put the saves into tier right now, like which sieve is good or bad in their age, etc. So how the sieve is good. I'm not gonna put like, let's say, English into S tier because, yeah, like English S tier sieve. English right now is currently really really good in every age. But let's talk again. If any of these civilizations receive 50 extra population, doesn't matter which civ, they are good. If OOTD receives 50 extra, perfect. If HR receives 50 extra, perfect. If like any of these civs receive extra 50 population, it's insanely perfect. But listen to this. And also put civilizations into tier to which civ will get highly focused out in a lobby, right? So the sieve must generate a lot of gold without having a problem of gold generation. So in my eyes, of course, English is gonna be in S tier civilization. English is good in Dark Age. English is good in Feudal Age, in Castle Age, and Imperial Age. Right now in the Nomad game mode, and that's the reason why I'm putting English into S tier, because they can generate gold. If they receive another 50 population, that's crazy strong. They can make farms in Dark Age. Let's say you couldn't find that many sheep, you have insanely cheap farms. You can age up really, really fast with that. You can just go to TC. You have one of the best defensive system in the game. Let's say you got 2 extra kills. Then you just put 120 regional food. You have insane gold generation and insane food. So you can just spam marathon crossbowman and outpost everywhere on the map and try to beat that, of course. So in my eyes, English is instantly strong, instantly good because they can generate gold and also really hard to beat. So I fought against English players that had 50 or 100 less population than me, and sometimes I just couldn't beat them. It was so hard to beat them. It was crazy. So that's why I'm gonna put English into S tier because they have late game gold generation without problem. Like they if they don't have relic, they can still generate an insane amount of gold. The next tip I'm gonna put into S is Rus. So why I'm putting Rus into S tier next to English? So many generation has crazy good wood line, right? But that's not the only fact why I'm putting Rus into S tier. Rus can make a hunting cabin in Dark Age, and the Rus player can actually collect all the sheep from the map. So if you have a Rus player in the lobby and you are thinking like, oh wait, I just spawned in the middle, I just build my TC in the middle. Why I don't have the sheep? Where are the sheeps? Like most of the time, the sheep is in the middle. The reason behind that because there was a Rus player in the lobby who already made a hunting cabin at the start of the game, made 2 scouts out of the hunting cabin, and collected all the sheep. I had a game where I played in Rus, and in the Dark Age, even my TC was not even up yet, but I already had 30 sheep. 30, not 13, 30 sheep literally on both of my scouts all together. So like one of the scout had 11, the other one had the rest of them. So Rus is really good, can age up without harvesting gold. You can even age up to age 3 without harvesting gold if you make hunting cabins early on, because most of the time you're gonna have 500 bounty. If you have 500 bounty, just make like 5 or 4 cabins. You can go to TC, and also you have the Kremlin. The Kremlin saved my lives so many times. I can't even count on my fingers. So I was away from my base. Someone tried to snipe my king. I just used the Kremlin gremlins, aka the militia from the Kremlin, and I just saved my king because I had like let's say 20 tickets, which I just summoned 40 militia, right? So I just summoned 40 militia. And they protected my base. I just got back in time and just killed the rest of the army. So like Rus in every age is crazy good. With the hunting cabins, you have a 500 gold cap, but the high trade house actually doesn't count into the 500 gold cap. So which means if you get a really good high trade house, one of my best high trade house in FFA Nomad was 470 gold per minute, which altogether that's 970 gold per minute. So if you get a really good heritage house, you can have also an insane amount of gold per minute. And also they have the warrior monks, so you can collect the relics really fast. So Rus is good in every age, and also they have cheap hand cannoneer units. If you go Spasskaya, you can build stone walls. It's not necessary, by the way. It's not necessary to go with Spasskaya, but you can go with Spasskaya and you can build stone walls. But also, if you don't go Spasskaya, then you can just build 20 layer of walls, because the Rus wood walls are crazy strong. They are insanely strong. They have a lot of health, and it takes a while that you get through the Rus palisade walls. And the reason behind the reason why they're so good, because if you just wood wall yourself, right? You don't spend the stone, so you can even build a wonder even like easier, much more easier to build a wonder. So that's why the Rus also goes to S tier in my eyes. So the next civilization is gonna be the Chinese, which is only A tier, and I'm gonna tell you why. So recently I played a lot of Chinese games, even though they are really good in every age as well. It's really hard to kill because they have the hand cannons, they have like insane amount of landmarks. But most of the games, you will get targeted because players know that China is really strong civ, just like Rus and English, but China is actually stronger than Rus and English in military wise. So they have crazy strong hand cannoneer, they have the most landmarks, they have nest of bees, of course, they have strong bombard as well, clock tower siege, etc. So I can just go on like with fire lancer, grenadiers, etc., etc. But the problem is that if you play China, there's a very high chance that you will get focused out by the others in the lobby. Also, the gold generation is not as good as English or Rus. So the maximum I had with my imperial officials get generating tax was around 500 gold per minute, which means the English and the Rus gold generation is much better than the Chinese one. So you will get targeted most of the time. Your gold generation is not as good as the other two civilization. You have a strong army, which is good, but if you also couldn't secure kills, you are in a like really on the edge. Because as I said, like I had games with China recently, and their gold generation without harvesting gold or having a trade, it's insanely bad. It's really bad compared to the other two civilization, and most likely you will get focused out. The other civilization, which I'm gonna put into B tier, is Malian. So their feudal is like, okay, good. Their castle insanely strong. Early imperial is actually broken, but late imperial is trash. So also the reason why I put into B tier, because there is a high chance that you will also get focused out by other players. The reason behind that, I lost many games with Malian, not because I don't have Marathon, but because players were talking in chat that they should focus me, because as soon as the cow boom goes online, you're gonna make like an insane amount of sofa. You just spam sofa. So let's say you kill two player and the other players are now grouping up against you because you have extra 100 population, right? You're gonna be in a huge trouble because now you have the car boom. You don't have a second or third TCS. You're just gonna be there, but everything is now too late. And also, your neighbor 100% gonna focus. So that if you have someone in like next to you, he will focus you out, since he doesn't want the cow boom to go online. Online, right? Because of that, if the as I said, the cow boom goes online, uh, you are actually dead. So the other important thing, even though they have a good gold generation with the pit mines, so you can achieve like 400 plus gold per minute with the pit mines, right? um, and also you have the food generation. Their early imperial is good, late imperial is really bad, even though they have one of the best trash units in the game, Donzo and the archer, the poison archer, or the Donzo that has extra health, more health than a spearman, and they have plus one melee armor as well. And the poison archers doing a really really good job. They have the same damage but also a tick damage as well. The poison arrows, of course, but they also need a lot of gold to make their premium units, just like the Musafadi warrior, the Sofa, the hand cannoneers, etc. And most likely you will get focused out as well in your games, and that's why I would not put Malians into A tier next to the Chinese. Next civilization, Zushi. So it's really hard because Zishi doesn't have gold generation. I mean, it has gold generation just like China, but they don't have hand cannoneer, and because of that, they are not as good. So I'm gonna put Zushi next to Malian, but it's not better than Malian. Uh, Zushi has the Bombard, which is like a great Bombard, but they are not free like the Ottoman one. They have the Yuan protectors, right? The Yuan Rider, and the Imperial Guard. I'm pretty sure it's Imperial Guard. So they have some really good premium units. They can do Chiganyu all in H2, killing one player. But the problem, you know what is the problem with the all in Chiganyu? So many player tried to do that against me, and all of them failed. But at the same time, we both died. So we both died because he chicken you all in me. Or there was one time, there was only once when I didn't die against chicken you all in, but it's really hard with them in the feudal because they don't have the Barbican just like China. It's much harder to play with them overall, and the late game is much more worse because they don't have the hand cannoneer, they don't have fire lancers, they don't have archers, so they are like a lot of units, and also they are like insanely gold heavy. So this city requires so much gold, but they can't generate that amount of gold back. Just like the Chinese. So even though they have more imperial official, to generate more gold, they take population. And if you can't kill players, you are really bad situation. But of course, if you get manage to get 2 kills, you have insane amount of goals, and you just spam the bombards. It's really really good. But of course, you will not get focused out just like the other civilization like China or Malian, but they are insanely gold heavy. So that's why I would not put higher than the Malian, but it's next to it. It's not better than the Malian. Mongols. Actually, the Mongols, I would not put them into F tier. Mongols, I would put them on D tier. The reason behind that, because recently I just found out that I didn't lose a single Mongol game yet. What I'm doing with Mongols is straight Imperial Rush, and how do I do that? I make a stable in Dark Age, just like with Rus. So remember, Rus makes the hunting cabin. I don't make the Uvu, but I make the stable in Dark Age. And with the stable, I can make 2 scout immediately picking up the sheep from the middle or the side or close by. Or if somebody tries to build very close to me, I can use the scout to beat their villager up as well. So the scouts helping me to make sure my villagers gonna have a really good place. It makes sure that I can have a really good starting zone, because as I said, I can use those scouts to be offensive as well, just like Rus. But the problem with them is the lack of walls, no gold generation. You can use the Knut place, but it's not the same. So they don't have infinite gold generation, only with the trade. But if you don't have a trade in the map, then you actually suck. So that's the only reason why I put them into D tier, because they don't have unlimited generation, they don't have walls, they don't have keeps, they have only the towers, And if you are lucky, let's say you are lucky, you are not focused, you are not getting focused out, then it's really good. Then we can put the Mongols even into S tier if nobody focuses you. But most of the time, the people in the lobby will focus you, and they will try to kill you, because you are like, it's the most easiest to kill a Mongol player, since they don't have caves, they don't have stone walls, wood walls, etc., etc. But I would not put them into F tier. Next one, Byzantine. I actually put them next to China, but I was even thinking that they are better than China. The reason behind that, because the olive oil. So if you go with a foreign company, um, you can make siege with olive oil. You can make bombard, hui power, nest of bees, right? So you can make all the siege by using only olive oil. You can use olive oil to make Stratzi, which is hand cannoneer unit. So actually, you don't have gold generation in the late game, but you have olive oil that actually your gold. The Golden Horn Tower as well, creating gold heavy units. If you are like level 5 cistern, most of the time you get Stratzi and Lanschneck. So you're gonna get gold heavy units. Still, their feudal age is really good. Their dark age is insanely broken. So even though you don't have the TC down, so you don't make your TC yet, you can put down the cistern, and you can use the accurate defense to make the enemy player to run away. So let's say two of your villager is building the TC and three of your villager is pushing the enemy player out. So like, don't build your TC here, don't build your TC here, right? Um, you can do that in Dark Age. You can't do that with China, of course. So uh, I think the reason of that, I'm gonna put Byzantine here, and China behind the Byzantine, because they are feudally strong. They can go to castle faster than China. They can make like different type of unit with olive oil, different gold heavy units. They can do like early map control. Let's say you didn't go with the Lombo man, but you went with the Keshik. I played many games that I went with the Keshik rather than the Lombo man, and I had early map control, which was crazy strong, and I collected like 6 7 relic because of that. Because when I went to Castle, I already had 6 Keshik. So like, let's say the HRE player went to Castle, right? They had like one knight supporting the prelate. Meanwhile, I had 6 Keshik. So most of the time, I get the relics from the middle. You can go to Kessler insanely fast, and you don't have gold generation. Then you have the olive oil, which is really good. So also they have fire trebuchet, which I don't need to explain it. The next civilization I'm gonna put is gonna be French. Well, French is French. Do I need to say a lot? Even though they have guild hole, they can make knights, they can snipe players. Let's say player A and player B is next to each other, and player C just go there with the French knight and kill both of them. If it has like, if the French player has a chance to do that, he can do it. But in my eyes, French is not as strong as the other civilization, even though they have Guildhall. Guildhall is only 200 gold per minute, so that gold per minute is not as fast as the other civilization gold per minute. All right, so next civilization, Jeanne d'Arc. Actually, in my eyes, Jeanne d'Arc is much better than French. For me, Jeanne d'Arc was the civ that actually put me into the top 1 leaderboard, on the leaderboard, into the top 1 position. So why is it Jeanne d'Arc so much better than French? The reason behind that, because they build Jeanne d'Arc builds the TC up insanely fast. You can get level 2 Jeanne d'Arc in Dark Age. Like, let's say you get the Archer Jeanne d'Arc. You just go to your enemy TC and just try to stamp the villagers. Now, let me tell you that there was a guy who didn't even go to feudal yet, but he already lost three villager. So many people are complaining because Jeanne d'Arc start with one less villager, and also the Jeanne d'Arc turns into a unit. And many people complain that, oh my god, like why do we have this? Why does it start with one less villager? Because like if Jeanne d'Arc starts and with an extra like the same amount of villager as other players, it would be broken as hell. Because as I said, I had a game where I killed this guy like three or four villager when he was just going to feudal, so he didn't achieve feudal yet. He was just going to feudal, and I already killed his villagers. So Jeanne d'Arc feudal and Dark Age is much stronger than the French. Castle and Imperial is the same strength as the French, but because Jeanne d'Arc feudal and Castle is much stronger, and also Jeanne d'Arc can snipe siege. Don't forget, in HE, Jeanne d'Arc does 100 damage, and sorry, level 3 does 100 damage, and level 4 Jeanne d'Arc does 150 damage to siege weapons, and also with the ability you can snipe kings as well, or aka monarchs. So that's why I put Jean d'Arc into B tier. Well, this is gonna be sad, and nobody expected it. But Ayubid, in my eyes, is F tier. Sorry for saying that, but it's too much gold. Why I have to spend like insane amount of gold to make this civilization so strong? The Atabeks is only seven. You can put it into seven buildings only. While you have the boot camp, of course, you can increase the health of your cavalry units, but their health is just it's bad. It's just shit already. Sorry for saying that, but it's bad. The camel lancer has less health than a normal lancer or knight. Has less damage. The Desert Raider cost 50 gold, so it's a really gold heavy unit in my eyes. It's like uh, more expensive than a crossbow, kind of. Not really, but it requires gold, so it's not a trash unit that can easily spammed. Lack of economy. The wings are really bad for FFA Nomad. So everything is bad in Ayurveda. So I don't like to use them. Even the meme tower, the tower of Sultan, I just don't want to use it. The Manjanik doesn't do damage to buildings that has fire armor. Did you know that the Manjanik deals only one damage per projectile to Delhi Keep? Because the Delhi Keep has 15 fire armor, and the Manjanik has like 12 damage or 14, something like that, or 15 against keep. So actually, you do only one damage to the Delhi Keep. So it's just insanely bad. Like it's too expensive, lack of economy. It's not really that fast paced as people are thinking. In one versus one, it's really good, but in FFA Nomad, it's just too slow, and also doesn't have gold generation in the late game at all without having trade. The next civilization I'm gonna talk about um, is gonna be Delhi. So, okay, it's really hard because their Delhi early game of every age is absolutely hard. But if the Delhi player has a lot of gold and can secure a lot of gold, it's insanely strong. So the elephant spam is very strong, but it will not make them into A tier, even though their upgrades are free. All the upgrades are free. In my eyes, is still not enough to put them into A tier or S tier, because the strong unit, again, the strong unit requires an insane amount of gold. So without trade, without securing a lot of gold, without killing players, the gold heavy units, again, not as crazy good as making Hungarians with China or Byzantine olive oil siege, because as I said again, Byzantine can make like the important siege and the important units by using only olive oil. And actually, Byzantine can spend olive oil to make elephants. So Byzantine can actually make elephants better than Delhi, actually, because you just spend olive oil. That's it, nothing else. And for Delhi, you spend food and gold, right? So for me, Delhi is B tier, even though they have a little bit cheaper wonder, because the compound defender gonna give you a little bit cheaper wonder. But Their feudal is a little bit like much harder than like Jeanne d'Arc or Malian feudal. Even though you will not get focused out, just like Malian or China, uh, they, their game style is just as strong as the Jeanne d'Arc. The next civilization is Ottoman. Again, what is the reason why I'm not putting Ottoman into A tier? Ottoman struggles the same thing as China. Players will group up and they will focus out Ottoman. Their feudal, castle, and imperial age is insanely strong. But as soon as you kill one player or two player, people in the lobby will focus you because they know that you have the great bomber, right? So you have the great bomber. Because of that, players will team up and they will kill you first in the lobby because they don't want to fight against 20 or 30 great bombards. And that's my best advice as well. If you have an Ottoman in game, and if it made one kill, or your neighbor is Ottoman, focus it out immediately. You really don't want like a 50 or 100 population Ottoman in your game, because those gate bombers is gonna be really, really, really hard to kill them. So even though their feudal is not bad, castle is really good, and imperial is insanely strong, because more likely you will get focused out in the lobby. uh, uh I cannot put them into S tier, and also they don't have gold generation just like these two. Next civilization is actually, I was thinking, but you're gonna think I'm crazy, but I'm not. Is Abbasid. Even though they don't have gold generation, right? They don't make gold in late game without like having relics or trade. They don't need, dude. Like Abbasid trash unit spam is so hard to beat. One of the like best archers. Their archers are crazy strong. Camel archers have 22 damage, and they cost only food and wood, right? Spearmen, one of the best spearmen in the game, because they have like a range like a horse. They beat you up from like 1 kilometer away, or even 1 mile away, it doesn't matter. So their range is insanely strong. The archers are insanely strong. The camel archers are just cracked, dude. Their camel archers is insanely cracked, and only cost food and wood. And because of that, you can actually, and also they have extra more health because they have the boot camp as well, and also they have more armor because the camel archers are providing you armor. So that's the only reason why I put Bassin into S tier, because they have the best trash unit spam in the game. And with like, I won games with Abbasid by making archer, horseman, camel archer, spearman. I was literally making all this, or if I had like a lot of food and wood, I didn't make archer. I made only camel archer. But this unique composition for the Abbasid is crazy, and their economy. Oh my god! I don't even need to tell you. Their economy is like insanely broken. Even though they have only two landmark, there is a high chance of getting landmark sniped. But if you play the Abbasid correctly, if you just wall yourself, you know how to connect the House of Wisdom to your main TC and etc. By the way, there is a trick that you can wall your House of Wisdom and also connect it to your wall system. So you have the Golden Age 1 or 2 3. You just need to use a mill. So if you use a mill, you can connect the House of Wisdom into your main TC. So you can literally wall the main TC and the House of Wisdom separately. So you can have one wall around the main TC and one wall around the House of Wisdom. So again, the best trash unit can easily survive H2, H3, H4. People most likely will ignore you. So people most likely will ignore you when you are playing with the Abbasid, because they are trying to kill China, Ottoman, or Malian. All right. Hmm. We have three civilizations left. Well, the problem with OOTD and HRE, they are good if they can secure relics, but at the same time, like, yeah, let's put it to see both of them, because people are saying like, oh yeah, OOTD plus 50 population is broken. No, every civilization is broken with 50 extra population. All of the civs are broken. There is no civ in the game which like, all right, let's give it 50 population and it's broken. No, if the French got extra 50 civilization population, you can make extra siege, extra Hankeneer, knights, etc., etc. So even though OTD gets extra 50 pop if for killing someone, that doesn't make them insanely broken. But again, if they can't secure relics, their late game has no gold, right? So they can make a lot go. And let me tell you, I had many generation where I had only 2 or 3 relics with OT or HRE. I couldn't pick up more because either the relic didn't spawn or the relic were so far away from me, there was another 3 OOTD or 3 HR in the game, and they picked up the relic. So I was making the like really low amount of gold per minute, and even though their units are not bad, they can like as I said, if the Mongol gets 100 population and survives the early game and the early Imperial, they are A or S, right? But even like I was thinking about the Outback Octagon as well, like how players died with HRE, even though I won a game. So I was connecting HRE to Outback Octagon too while I was thinking where should I put HRE actually. So I was thinking about the save, like, hey, where should I put HRE? Because I won a game, but many people lost with HRE, like insane amount of people lost with HRE. I was thinking like, so why is HRE losing that many games but also winning a few? Because if you have relics, then it's perfect. Relics, you have them, it's really good. If you have no relics, then it's really bad, right? Even though they have the best manathon, also still costs gold. If you don't have relics, you can make them. A Lanchnak that costs gold, gold heavy again, everything gold heavy. So there is like no good trash in it. OTD Spearman, OTD Archer, they are like as strong as the English one, which is perfect. But again, like their trash units are not the best. And also, don't forget, HRE like 2 or 3 seasons ago got nerfed because the unique Spearman upgrade is in the mine work. But with the HRE, you don't want mine work. Also on maps where you have fish, they are insanely strong, but they are not as strong as Japanese. So yeah, for me, HRE and OOTD are C tier because if they can't manage to get relics, then they don't have gold generation in the late game. All right, so I was thinking with Japanese A or B tier, and let me tell you why. So let's think together. Japanese, if you reach the Imperial, you have 6 Yorishiro, right? So with that, I'm pretty sure it's 400 and yeah, it's 450. So you generate 450 gold, which is really good. So it can be on the same level as China because you can generate the same amount of gold. You have insanely strong Manathons, aka the Samurai. You have the Onabugesha, which is crazy strong. You have Chief Fishing Ship. You can spam them like not a single civilization can spam as many fishing ship as the Japanese. So you can spam the fishing ship. You have the Onabugatis, the samurais, and also if you like, let's say you secure. Um, let's all this up together. So if you secure, let's say 4 relics, right? Then you have 320 gold per minute, and also with the 6 Yorishiro together, you have 770 gold per minute, which is crazy good, crazy strong. Feudal Age, very very good. Dark Age, no problem at all. You can like as I said, you can prepare yourself in the Dark Age for fishing, or you can get the early wheelbarrow as well. You get a stone in Dark Age, which helps you to make the second TC up faster. So with the Japanese, you can actually get your only stone to age up, and when you age up, you can make your second TC immediately. So you can get your only stone to age up, and you can have um, a bannerman as well at the same time as like making the second TC. So let's say you can build a second TC, you can build a stable and have a knight to know your neighbor. So there are like an insane amount of play style with the Japanese in FFA Nomad. You can have also the like if you want to go with the Buddhist monk, because let's say you feel like you can secure like 3 kills. There's a really low chance for that. But I had a game where I killed 3 player. Okay, listen to me. I killed 3 player. That's 150 extra population, right? I had 100 Buddhist monk, which is 2,005. Is it two? Wait, yeah, 2,500 gold per minute. Actually, 2,500 gold per minute. Even though that 100 population was only making gold, and they didn't really fight. I mean, I was using them to debuff my enemy, but yeah, so if you are lucky, then you can pull it out. If you are not lucky, then it's dead. Also, if you have relics, you can boost your army. So I think that's the only reason why I put Japanese here. More likely, people will ignore you. They will not focus out just like Japanese or Ottoman. Because as I said, the reason why I didn't put them into S tier, because more likely, people will focus out if you play Chinese. Sorry, so Chinese and Ottoman. Most likely, people will focus you out, but people will not focus out if you are playing with Japanese. It's not really as strong as Ottoman or Chinese or Byzantine. So I would put Japanese here. But honestly, after playing like, I'm pretty sure I played like 200 games of FFA Nomad, and currently while I'm making this video, I'm still the top 1 FFA player. Yeah, that's my CFTL list. So I hope you liked it, and I will upload this to YouTube. So thank you so much for listening everything I just said. I explained why the civilization on their spot and why they are good or bad, or why Ayubid is like their special unit cost gold, and why it's hard to make them even though they are good, but they are cost insane amount of gold, and they are like more likely just anti cavalry than anti anything else. So, too much gold, shitty economy. Thank you so much for listening to it, and see you guys next time.